Welcome to this rules overview for the Melbourne HEMA Open 2026. First up, scoring. For a clean hit, all targets are worth 2 points, except hands, which are worth 1 point. A successful afterblow reduces the score to a maximum of 1 point. This means that if the initial attack hits the hands and the afterblow is successful, the hands still count for only 1 point. In the event of a double hit, priority is given to the better target zone. We'll talk more about these zones later in the video. And a successful double hit also reduces the score to a maximum of 1 point. After the first successful hit, fencers have 1 tempo to deliver an afterblow. In other words, for an afterblow to count, it must be launched immediately after that fencer is struck. Afterblows can include a step, but multiple steps make the afterblow out of time. One way to think about this is that afterblows must be in the next tempo after the initial. If you get hit, then start a parry, then afterblow, that is out of time. If you start a parry, then get hit, then afterblow, that's in time. A pause, then hit is out of time. Blue is the initial. Red pauses, then afterblows, out of time. 2 points blue. Blue initial attacks hand. Into prep. Red immediately afterblows. In time, 1 point blue. An immediate attack with the cut that uses a long circular motion without pause is in time. A late afterblow may incur sanctions if they are considered dangerous. Mutual hits or doubles. In this competition, we are considering successful attacks made within the same tempo to be doubles or a mutual hit. What we are looking for is for both fencers to have begun forming their attack before they are struck. This is a mutual hit. This is also a mutual hit. And we resolve the double based on those target priorities. For longsword and sidesword, the zones are, in order of priority, head or torso, arms, including hands, and then legs. Whereas for rapier, the order of priority is thrust head or torso, cut head or torso, arms, including hands, and then legs. If both touches are given to the same zone, both fencers score 1 point. These attacks are in the same tempo. Blue thrusts chest, good. Red cuts head, also good. Both deep targets, but as this is rapier, the thrust to the chest from blue has priority. Target priority, 1 point blue. Hits to the same target priority zone, 1 point each. In rapier, attacks through the guard of the rapier are considered off target and do not count as scoring actions. Compared to this action in which red's rapier hits the hand outside of the guard. This is a scoring action. In longsword, single-handed attacks with the lead hand are scoring actions, whether they're thrusts or cuts. However, with the offhand, only single-handed thrusts are considered scoring actions. That means a single-handed cut with the offhand or the non-lead hand is a non-scoring action and will accrue sanctions as it's considered dangerous. Blade grabs and hand parries are both valid actions with 3 key rules. 1. Fencers cannot grab a blade or hand parry a blade that is performing a cutting action. This is considered dangerous and may incur sanctions. You cannot grab a blade when it's a thrust in motion either. 2. You cannot grab a blade in the top third. You can only grab a blade when it is static or the action is spent, which means it's static, and in the bottom 2/3 of the blade. Rule 3. Hand parries are only allowed against thrusts and static blades. Blade wraps follow the same principles as blade grabs. Wraps must be performed on the lower 2/3 of the blade to be valid. And the wrap can only be done on a blade that is static, not when it is performing an action. Offenders who step out of bounds with both feet shall be given a 1-point penalty. This is in the ring. This is out of the ring. So if a fencer makes a clean hit, then steps out, the maximum they can receive from that exchange is 1 point. Pommel strikes. Hits with the pommel must be indicated. Any intentional strikes with the pommel will be considered dangerous and attract sanctions. Attacks with excessive force shall not score and shall attract sanctions. Intentional strikes with any part of the body are illegal actions and shall not score, and will accrue sanctions. Intentionally tripping or throwing someone is an illegal action and will attract sanctions. A fencer who charges their opponent unintentionally shall not score for that exchange. A fencer who charges their opponent intentionally will attract sanctions for dangerous behaviour. This includes pushing opponents out of the ring. This is an illegal action. This, however, isn't, as the opponent stepped away. But it's important not to be confused with simply aggressively entering distance. This is fine and not charging. If both fencers kind of go for it, it's unfortunate and should just be considered no exchange for both fencers. Grappling, grabbing, or pushing the arm is allowed as long as it's performed safely. But grapples may not use joint locking or any form of manipulation. Recklessly reaching out to grapple an opponent when the opponent is still attacking is dangerous and will attract sanctions. In general, partially turning away, whether as part of an evasion or as part of a running attack, is legal. However, presenting or showing the back of your head in a dangerous way may incur sanctions. And this includes turning away from an opponent before the exchange has been fully halted. So it's a good idea to keep eye contact with your opponent. For example, this is fine. Attacks to the back of the mask or to the back of the jacket must be placed or clearly indicated to be legal. And attacks to the back of the mask or the back of the head performed with force shall attract sanctions. The feet are an off-target area and intentional attacks to them shall attract sanctions. Fencers are expected to volunteer truthful, useful and relevant information to the referees. The information that you can volunteer can only be neutral or in your opponent's favour. If you're asked by the referee about whether you've been hit, you must answer truthfully to the best of your knowledge. Neutral language works best. I didn't feel anything on my arm. Oh, I felt something on my head. I don't know is an acceptable answer, as long as it's truthful. Other information can be volunteered after the referees and the judges have initially discussed the exchange. For example, if the referee is about to award you points in the exchange, but you believe that there are missing information that would change the outcome, you must volunteer this information. Hold up your hand and provide the information. Poor quality, passe, flat, I hit hands, not arm, etc. Similarly, if you've been struck by a blow that hasn't been seen by the judges or referees, you must volunteer this information. Hold up your hand. I was hit chest, I was hit hand, I was hit arm, but it can only be in your opponent's favour. Don't downgrade a hit. If the referees believe you hit chest, you can't volunteer information and say you were hit arm, unless directly asked. As always, referees will take this information into account, but remember, it's their job to make the determination of points, penalties and cards, not yours. For more information on protests and grievances, please read the rules. I mean, you should just read them in general, but particularly that section. And we're really looking forward to seeing you at Melbourne HEMA Open. It's going to be a great and long weekend.